stand a chance of clinching the championship here? I think it's unlikely starting from 29th, though.
Yeah, absolutely, Bruce. I mean, I think Kubica's got his work cut out, but don't forget, he's not leading the championship by 51 points for no reason. You know, he has been the dominant driver all season by and large. Not significantly if you take individual races, but on the whole, he's been more consistent, I think, than anybody else. And he knows how to finish in the points and score those vital points. Starting from the back, yes, he has got his work cut out, but
there he is. In fact, sitting just not even on the start-finish straight.
No,
so he's a long way back.
Well, I think that's going to hurt him as well, starting on the corner, because the cars have a lot of torque, and you tend to get a lot of wheel spin off the line, especially with the hand-operated clutches. You don't seem to have as much feel with them as you would with the old style cars from last year, where we had the standard sort of 3-pedal foot clutch. But even so, I think Kubica, the important part for him is to stay out of trouble in the opening laps, try and pick his way through the the slower cars early on in the race, and then just wait and see if he can go a little bit longer at the start of the race. It's quite a long drag down to turn one, as we see here.
Indeed, looking over the top of Eric Salignon in pole position, and in fact that view is the view that the driver I was getting excited about, Tristan Gomendy, has, because he's in third place on the grid. He came into the pits in the last race, and then he went out and set fastest lap. So he bagged that extra point, and every point really does count at the moment.
Yeah, it does. I mean, now obviously with Adrian Baez winning earlier this morning, that's moved him into second place in the championship as well. That battle for second place is shaping up to be quite good between Baez, Will Power, and Tristan Gomendy.
Indeed, I'll just run you down the points. Robert Kubica is on first with 127 points, and the points go 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for the top 10 people. So Salignon's always picked one up for this race because he's on pole. There's another one for fastest lap. But then we have, as we say, Adrian Valles is second on 76 points. Then Tristan Gomendy third on 71. Will Power, who didn't have the best of opening races after that collision, is fourth on 63. And then Marcus Finkelhock, who went increasingly well after we tarred him with the brush of not going very well, setting fast laps, is fifth on 53 points. And just to run you down the next few who could maybe make up ground, Andreas Zuber, he is sixth on 47. Then come Eric Salignon, well, he's now on 44 because he's got the point for pole position. And Christian Montanari, he's starting to move up the leaderboard. He's next up on 43, and he's sitting fourth on the grid behind Jaap van Lagen. So as we see, Eric Salignon on pole. Jaap van Lagen, who drove a competitive first race, led the first 100 metres and then got a bit pushed wide and never could quite come back from that. But he's second on the grid. Tristan Gomendy third, Christian Montanari fourth. Then Fernando Rios and Danilo Dirani, who didn't complete a first lap in that opening race.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I was a betting man, I'd say Christian Gomendy's got to be my bet for this race. He was fastest in free practice on Friday by half a second, and then set fastest lap this morning as well. He's had, but didn't get anything otherwise from it. Didn't score any points, and he's desperate for a good result after, being pretty much the class act of the field so far in any sort of dry running that they've done this weekend. Starting third on the grid, he's in a good position. Even if he can't get ahead of Van Lagen and Salignon going into turn one or on the opening lap, as long as he stays there in contention. With the pit stops, maybe if he runs a couple of laps longer, can get a couple of quick laps in while they're getting their sort of fresher tyres up to temperature and up to operating pressures. He's got a good chance of winning the race.
But he also has a good buffer against the drivers immediately behind him, because Adrian Valles is down in 9th and Will Power 6 places further back in 15th. So those two have got to really be very careful, yet at the same time really attack in these opening laps. There's the grid to run down it with Eric Salignon on pole from Jaap van Lagen, Tristan Gomendy third, as we said, and then Christian Montanari. Just Ryan Sharp, the best of the British drivers. In fact, he is the best because he's the only one. He's 8th on the grid. He came to the championship late this year, having started in another series, and maybe home ground will help him pick up a good result.
Yeah, we see Adrian Baez down in 9th. He had a strong race this morning, didn't he? He was fairly dominant, got out in front and pulled away. I think it was over 6 seconds at one stage.
The battle behind him really became quite intense between Montanari and Kubica.
Fleming is a lot further back than he would like to be, I should think, down in 20th place. He's been strong for a lot of the weekends this season. And I think he'd be a little bit disappointed being so far down the grid. So I think, but he's a good racer. He's a hard racer. I think we can expect some good things from him as the race unfolds. It's quite a long race. We're not looking at sort of a short sprint here. 27 laps is, we're looking at a good sort of 45-minute race. So, and Donington's, it is reasonably physical as well. I think with sort of long flowing corners, they do make a difference. Driver fitness, and I think it's going to be interesting to see towards the end of the race what sort of pace we see from a lot of the drivers, especially the front runners.
Yes, well, we talked this morning about how it's the coldest conditions there's been so far this season. And just looking out of the window, the flags are blowing from the north, but really very limpid wind, so we can discount that. So, and the sky's overcast, slightly broken cloud, but I think we've got what we're going to get, haven't we? Just a grey day, and that's considerably better than yesterday when it was so wet, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, it was really a case of welcome to England, boys, for all these European teams who've been out racing at Le Mans and everywhere else where we've had 35 degrees and bright sunshine.
But there was a taste of rain at the previous round at Oschersleben.
There was, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it was. I think that was very torrential rain as well. But even so, I think it's the colder temperatures. They're not really, if anything, they're a benefit to the teams and the drivers because, as I was saying earlier this morning, the tyres are quite soft. And having the cooler temperatures mean that the tyres stay quite consistent all the way through the race. I don't quite know why Eric's sort of doing such a slow warm-up lap, though. You could see all of them sort of bunching up.
He's not really bothering to even work the heat into his tyres.
Yeah, I mean, he's working them left and right, but the faster you go, the more heat you're able to generate in the tyres. And also, especially with the brakes, running the carbon brakes, they need to operate at a higher operating temperature. But not only that, they also cool off a lot faster than the standard steel brakes. So he really needs to sort of speed things up a bit if he wants to make sure everything's up to temperature on the opening lap.
It now looks as though he just suddenly decided that he's only got effectively one corner to go after this one as they round the Melbourne hairpin. Back up to the top of the hill there behind the back of the pit and the paddock, and to Goddard for that final corner, the corner on which Robert Kubica will be starting because he doesn't, being 29th and last, he doesn't quite fit onto the start-finish straight. So here's Goddard's the corner we talked about.
Yeah, I think we need to sort of go into a little bit of what happened to Kubica. So basically, after qualifying, the scrutineers found something as a technical infringement on the front anti-roll bar of their car. It was the car's run 2mm Belleville washers in the front roll bar, and basically one of them were missing on the front of Robert's car, which was qualified as a technical infringement, and they put them at the back of the grid. So it's
yes, the team boss was telling me how it's actually about 0.2 of a millimetre was all they were missing, but it's outside the rule book, so a rule is a rule, and
I think it's fair enough. He's it's 0.2 millimetre makes a big difference in one of these cars, so I think that's fair enough. You see, for some reason, I think we've got one car missing.
Hold on, that should be Fernando Reis.
Fernando Reis, yeah, I was just going to say, I don't quite know what's happened to him.
Well, we didn't see anyone pull off on the
I could
formation lap.
I could see Kubica just coming in at the end. I don't know what's happened to Fernando Reis. We'll try and find out as in the next couple of minutes or so, but we'll...
fleetingly before the start, I'm going to look out the window and see if he's coming into the pit lane. There is no sign of him, so maybe a circuit camera will pick him up.
See the green flag's gone.
Yeah, so we're ready for the start. Eric Salignon on pole. Yep, Van Lagen, will he make another good start like the first race? The answer is yes. Eric Salignon was asleep on the formation lap and again at the start. So it's Jaap Van Lagen into the lead. Montanari going down the outside. Ryan Sharp, grass on the inside.
Yeah.
That's taken one.
It's taken the front runners out.
Yeah, Van Lagen is out.
And Montanari as well.
Montanari, so it could even be Ryan Sharp leading and someone else. That could be Ryan Sharp over there and someone else. That's one of the Avalon cars.
That's Banani, I think. Or
no, that's the other one because he's got a red helmet, hasn't he? So there's Montanari and in the lead with
Adrian Baez.
Adrian Baez in his day of days, isn't it? It's all coming to him. No, he's in second place. So that is Salignon. I think. No, he took the other one out. Let's have a little look.
We'll have to have a look in a minute, yeah.
But this goes to prove it never works on the grass, particularly when it's been very wet for a few days. Poor Jaap, taken out.
I don't know what he was trying to do there, to be honest.
No, that's quite hard to say. Tristan Gomedy was quite fortunate to miss them, and then in came Eric Salignon. Well, obviously Eric Salignon.
I think it's... you could say Gomendi collided with Ryan Sharp. That's Ryan Sharp going off on the left. Okay, because Ryan Sharp had been
coming around the outside.
Yep, it's Pastor Maldonado who's in the lead, ahead of Adrian Baez.
Well, there you go. Welcome back to the series, Pastor.
Yep.
And Adrian Baez. And then it's Marcus Winkelhock, and the safety car is out, obviously. Sorry, I didn't say that because it was fairly obvious with so much on and off the circuit. But as we say, Maldonado in the lead from Adrian Baez and Marcus Winkelhock.
Yep. Gomendi somehow escaped all the mess at turn one and he's ended up in 4th place. But I'll tell you what, Adrian Zuber and Will Powers seem to have moved up significantly because they're now in...
They're in 6th and 7th. Zuber 6th, yeah. Power 7th.
And they started well down the field.
Well done, exactly. Power was starting 15th.
Yep.
Coming past us very slowly now behind the safety car. Just checking the order as they cross the finish line. And again, it's Pastor Maldonado, Adrian Baez, Marcus Winkelhock, Tristan Gomedy, Danilo Dirani on his first well, it's his second race, but his first round of the series, and Adrian Zuber, as we said, in 6th, Will Power right behind in 7th.
Yeah, I'm just looking out the window. I could see Trevor Carlin and Harvey Spencer. They've got a bit of a smile on their face, seeing their drivers having moved up from, they started, I think it was down in 13th and, in 12th and 15th place. So, you know, they've had a good opening lap.
Absolutely, it came to them. But I mean, Salignon was terribly slow off the line, wasn't he? And then he...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened to Eric. I think he just completely missed the start, and then it's almost like he just got a bit desperate, didn't he? He got on the grass on the inside, bounced across, and, you know, just straight into the unfortunate Jaap van Lagen.
Now, obviously, it was all going off at the front, but you can forgive us for not noticing what was happening in the back. But started 29th, did Robert Kubica, and he's up to 16th, so he's already picked up quite a few places there.
Yeah, no, it's a good opening lap for him, as we see his teammate Felix Portero being wheeled back into the garage.
We're looking under the back of the car, but maybe that was just to get some little wheels in to help wheel it in. There was quite a lot of debris on the track, and certainly when the field concertinaed through Redgate, and everyone was trying to find a place to go.
Yeah, I have a feeling that maybe some damage to the front wing on Tristan Gomendy's car, because he collided with Ryan Sharp as he exited the corner. We didn't pick that up initially, but then on the replay we managed to see that. And
just
bit of smoke.
Looking, someone's smoking as we come down. It's one of the Intervetten cars.
I think that's Daniel Rosa. I think that is Daniel Rosa, as the marshals are now trying to pull away Jaap van Lagen's car. That's a huge disappointment for him, I think. I mean, he was, you know, he was looking forward to this race. He got a fantastic start yet again after race 1.
Yes. He didn't profit from it in race 1, but he looked as though he was going to win this one, so it was very unfair. That's a mauling that you don't deserve.
Yeah. See Salignon's car beached there with the front suspension damage. Safety car is going to be out for another couple of hours. We have another look at this one, Bruce. You see, there's Tristan. We've seen that incident, but let's focus on Tristan Gomendy. They're colliding with Ryan Sharp.
Oh, well, that wasn't Sharp's fault, because as we can see, Ryan Sharp in the red car, almost in the pit lane exit. He's keeping out of trouble as Eric Salignon is getting all wrong on the left.
But it's like Ryan Sharp did a good job. He got right across the circuit to the inside. Nothing wrong with that. And I think Tristan Gomendy possibly got a wheel on the curb.
Yeah, because he suddenly snapped right,
just sort of snapped right. We can't see it with the smoke. Snapped right and into Ryan Sharp, which sent the unfortunate Ryan Sharp off into the gravel.
Yeah, at Hollywood, which is the corner that follows Redgate. And that is Daniel
Rosa. Yeah,
we thought he was smoking as he came down the hill behind the safety car there, and they're saying that's enough, Daniel.
Oh, I know that sign. Yeah.
yeah. Next time you're in the car is going to be Estoril for the penultimate round. Still no sign of the lights going off on top of the car, because they've got to remove Salignon's car from the gravel at Redgate. Can't see all the other points that cars went off in the first lap, and there were certainly plenty of them. But now it's the time for the drivers to recollect their thoughts, and Pastor Maldonado must be rather excited with life.
He's from 7th to 1st at turn 1. You know, he's gone up 6 places. It's a fantastic opportunity for him now to try and make the most out of it. See Vyers and Winkelhock. I'm surprised, Gomendy, you can see the damage on the right-hand side of that front wing. So I wonder if he is going to have some understeer to start with, in which case it could benefit Danilo Dirani right behind him.
Oh, there's Ryan Sharp's car, matching car and tractor, and let's see who the other one is behind. Is that the other independent car? No,
that's Van. No, that's Van Langen's car and Salignon. I think the marshals have been more than busy today. I think more than they would have liked, and more than I think the safety car drivers probably led more laps than anyone else.
Yes, he's certainly done more laps than almost anybody else out there. And yes, there we can see the end plate, or something jammed under the end plate of Gomendy's front wing there, as he comes around just behind Winkelhock in 4th place. So another lap in which the safety car just goes past our window as we speak. So Maldonado is starting to clock up quite a few laps in the lead without having to do a great deal for it. And his real trick was to somehow, it was like threading a needle, wasn't it?
I mean, to be honest, Maldonado he started on the inside, he just stayed there. And while everything was kicking off in front of him and to the left-hand side of him, he just sat and waited and said, you know, thank you very much, and away he went. But I can see Montanari's rejoined at the back of that, so he obviously dug himself out of the gravel and has managed to get down to the back of that train of cars. I was just having a look at the other movers. It looks like Pavlovich has made 5 or 6 places, but really the Carlin Motorsport duo are the big gainers, aren't they? Apart from Maldonado, they are the 2 big movers up after the opening lap dramas.
Yeah, Zuber in 6th and Will Power in 7th. Oh, just missed the safety car there. I just want to see if it's car number 21 under investigation is flashing on the screen. That's Eric Salignon, which I think is fair enough because I don't think it's too difficult a case to see that he perhaps was in the wrong.
I think you're being awfully generous.
I'm being very generous because when you have prima facie evidence like that, it's quite clear. I think he just was obviously a little bit upset about having ruined his pole position and something just no, it's a strip off. Visor strip.
Yeah, I do think that maybe Eric, apart from just being a little bit late in sort of reacting to the lights, maybe he just didn't have enough heat in the rear tires as well.
Well, we
did see that there's not enough. He wasn't going fast enough there, but maybe that sort of contributed to the problem. As we see a sign just come up with the TV monitor saying oil at turn 12.
And I've just had a look at the map and quickly counted. I think that's the final corner. I think that's Goddard's, but sometimes. Someone's just spun. There it is.
Maldonado, that's the leader.
Maldonado has spun out to the lead behind the safety car on the very oil we were mentioning. So it clearly. Don't do it now.
No.
You can understand why he wants to do it.
His teammate as well. He almost took him out.
Dear me. Bear in mind.
So I wonder what's going to happen now. He's going past them. I don't know how the officials are going to read that. But Pastor Maldonado has just flown past about 6 cars.
Here we have the replay. We were just saying we think it's Goddard's where the oil is, and there's the oil on the tyres as he accelerates into the pit lane entry.
It's just all going off today, isn't it?
It really is going berserk. And I was just about to say that looking at Pastor's season, it's been one of disaster.
No, he's letting them back through again. He's letting them.
Okay.
He's letting them through again.
He's wise. You can understand how furious he is. He finished 20th and then retired in the opening rounds, got disqualified at the second round, has only just come back.
I could see some teams getting ready for the pit stop, but coming up to the first pit stop window here, I could see KTR stood downstairs out in the pit lane. Also Draco racing further down.
Yeah, and busy. There's one of the cars that came in to retire has left oil everywhere in the pit lane. Obviously, also at corner 12.
That was
so that's being brushed
La Rosa,
up.
Yeah, wasn't it? I think it was La Rosa who retired a little bit earlier on.
Indeed. And in fact, we've got footage on the screen, of course, of them doing precisely the same. Little handful of cement dust being put down, hoping to mop it all up. So they're out of the way. Obviously, the flags will be waved as the field comes back round to that final corner. Car's still some way back around the lap, gone onto the loop down to the Melbourne hairpin yet. Have to then come back up to this corner, the final one, Goddard's. So these marshals, who as we said have been working very hard, will be. There they are. They're running. The cars are clear. They've been given the warning, get back off. We can see the yellow flag and the yellow and red oil flag, warning flag, just in the background at the marshals post there. And let's hope this time everyone has learned.
I've just seen Epsilon come out into the pit lane as well. So with Portero having retired, I should think that's for Robert Kubica. Which I'm not sure if that's really that's probably a good move, because get in there, get some good tyres on, free air, do a few quick laps, because at the moment I can only see otherwise KTR in the pit lane. Draco have gone back in, so it could be a good move here for a couple of the drivers to make a quick pit stop.
So just to reiterate, with Pastor Maldonado's disaster there, Adrian Valles, the winner of the opening round, is now in the lead at second race. So good day for him. Marcus Winkelhock third, second, Tristan Gomendy third, Danilo Dirani on his first meeting in the championship up to fourth, Adrian Zuma fifth, and Carlin's day gets better and better as Will Power is now sixth.
This could work out quite well for Adrian Valles, because if you remember, he was quick than most of the others on cold tyres yesterday. Earlier this morning. After every safety car restart, as well as sort of early on in the race, he was able to make the break, which could benefit him now, because having done so many laps under the safety car, yes, they are weaving around to generate heat. It's not quite going to be the same level of heat that's being generated as at racing speeds. So it'll be interesting to see if he can sort of pull away just as he did earlier on today.
But last time he did it, he had different drivers behind him. This time he's got Winkelhock and then Gomendy. Gomendy is desperate to score points. So how do you read that one when the restart comes to town?
I mean, Winkelhock and Gomendy were both, obviously Gomendy I think is going to be, as I said earlier on, he is the favourite for me. I'm still a bit concerned about that front wing damage, though. I mean, I can still see a bit hanging off to the side. Could just be just a bit of plastic from the running strip. But again, Winkelhock wasn't mighty quick early on in the race. Once the race sort of unfolded and got going, then he was as fast, if not faster, than anybody else.
Well, KTR, I think, are definitely going to bring their car in. Right, the last lap of the safety car. I wonder if they're cursing about that. As the cars go round the Melbourne hairpin for the last time behind the safety car before battle is rejoined.
No, not really, because you're not allowed to pit under the safety car in the championship.
That's why I've got you here, the expert.
So that's why they're waiting. As soon as the safety car pulls in, they're hoping to get a few laps of clean air, as we see. Yep, Gomendi's...
But can he not do now?
Now I can see he's gone in because safety car's pulled in. So
exactly.
Gomendi's in the pits now at the moment.
Could be time to perfection, perhaps. And just looking down, look, battle for third place.
So that's Zuba. Zuba's gone down the inside of Danilo Dirani.
Yep.
As we see, Gomendi's just pulled in right underneath us. He's changing the front tyres on that car, which is fairly standard for most of the drivers. Robert Kubica
now.
Just as we were
showing their experience.
Earlier. Yep. So this could
tidy pit stop, doesn't run over any of his mechanics, and Tristan Gomendi rejoins the race, and in comes car number 1, that's Carboni.
Been in, and so is Fleming and Pellegrino.
Okay, so about half a dozen, maybe 8 cars have come in, so we'll have to see how the order settles down. Have they played the trump card? Have they got it right? But for the moment, Valles leads from Winkelhock, Danilo Dirani up to 3rd, Zuba 4th, Will Power 5th, and Tristan Gomendi, well, on the screens he's 6th, but of course he isn't because he came into the pits.
The one, you should see Zuba weaving about, trying to generate heat in the tyres. Obviously, that's what I was saying earlier. See Will Power going down the inside.
Well, he tried that in the first race, and we saw what happened there. This time, he was sort of given the corner, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think Danilo was a little bit more generous than the drivers were earlier on today, but. He's gone wide. Danilo's gone wide, and that's I think that's Damien Passini going.
Yeah, but Maldonado as well having a go as they come up the hill back to Goddard's, and there we saw Zuba.
Yep.
And then Power. And look at all that dust kicking up. Maldonado did not get past. Let's see if any of those come into the pits.
Yeah, Maldonado's in, and so is I think Paganot as well. Paganot is in as well. And Adrian Valles.
Yeah, Valles is in too. So Winkelhock is now leading the race. Everyone gets a turn.
Yep. He's run over a mechanic.
Mechanics?
He's run over a mechanic. Oh, no, dear.
Is he okay?
I don't know.
Hard to tell. That could well have been getting it wrong on the oil on the way in.
Yeah, I think that was Maldonado who actually ran over one of Valles' mechanics. We see
we can't see it from here.
Tedeschi pulling out, and Christian Montanari as well. I'm just going to try and have a look and see if I can see what happened.
Okay, while you have a look out the window, Karen, to have a look, Winkelhock is really stretching his lead over Zuba at the front of the field. Just looking for them to come to the next thing. He's 2.3 seconds clear with Passini in 3rd. And now, so Zuba's starting to close in a bit. So putting the heat into his tyres is starting to work for Zuba.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to just have a look as we see. I think the thing to watch out for now is the pace of Tristan Gomendi relative to the pace of Marcus Winkelhock and Andy Zuba at the front. Because really, if Gomendi is able to put in some fast laps in clean air, he could potentially get ahead of Winkelhock when Winkelhock makes his pit stop. So,
well, he all but guaranteed himself clean air by coming in after as the safety car withdrew. Someone else just coming in now, and let's see. Just looking down the list, Gomendi is.
That's Pavlovich versus Danielson, and who's the other car? I think that's Meneghello. That's Matteo Meneghello going down the inside of Milos Pavic. Yep, into turn 1 as we see Miguez.
There's the same team. Lost had one of their mechanics knocked over. And that's Sergio Miguez coming out, so he's further down the order. He was actually 10th when he came into the pits there.
Yeah,
the leader we're looking at the moment is Winkelhock.
Yeah, Danilo Dirani's just been in as well on that same lap. And Winkelhock from Zuba, from Passini. Danielson's in 3rd. We saw Meneghello get ahead of Pavlovich into Redgate on this lap. So Pavlovich is now down into 6th place, and I don't think
5th place.
Fifth place, sorry. And we haven't seen the top. No, he's now down in 6th. Meneghello's
let's just check. Okay, here we are. There's the proof of it. Meneghello, and then Pavlovich, then Thomas Koska, Rio Fukuda, behaving better in this race, hasn't jumped at the scenery.
Yep.
Then Madi Banani and car number 12, which off the top of my head is Bellarosa for Avalon. So then there's a big gap, 8-second gap back to Adrian Valles and Power. 20 and 23 are under investigation. Damien Passini and Pastor Maldonado. Well, Pastor Maldonado, I think we can understand why. Spinning on the oil. We don't know yet about Passini.
Yeah, let's see Zuber with a 21.0 on that last lap. Sorry, Winkelhock with a 21.0 on that lap was Zuber at 20.6. So Zuber has taken 4 tenths out of Winkelhock on that last lap. You know, I think really the first of the drivers to have stopped appears to be Danilo Dirani to me. No, he stopped. Sorry, that's further back. We're just waiting for the timing screen.
Yeah, just waiting to catch up. Gomendi, 15th, in 13th place.
Baez. Adrian
Baez is in 11th. Good grief, yes. He's 4.5 seconds ahead.
Yeah, we're looking at Baez, Power, Gomendi, Paganod, and Kubica. Kubica. That's impressive, isn't it?
Yes, we'll see how that shakes out in the next few laps, but he could be sort of running in about the top 6 or 8, which isn't bad from 29th. So you were right. I was the doubting Thomas.
Yeah, I mean Zuber's looking strong, isn't he? He's just visibly looks a bit more committed than Winkelhock. Winkelhock just looks a little bit ragged. You know, perhaps the car not as well balanced as Zuber is at the moment. But the pace is still, you know, there's not much in it really between the first two. Bassini seems to be a little bit slower. You know, not quite able to match the pace that Winkelhock and Zuber are coming up with at the moment.
Okay, Zuber's just set the fastest lap of the race, but on the previous lap it was set by Adrian Baez out on his new tyres. So that's
Pellegrino.
Yes, your old car, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
He's one of the 3 debutants here this weekend. Let's just see what he got wrong. Oh, that bit.
That was up at the top of the hill at Coppice. I think he just carried a little bit too much speed in there. Ran wide into the gravel. We'll see.
That's life, as it says in the background.
No.
So it may be. So let's just see Baez's pace on that lap. Not quite as fast, but setting sort of mid to low 1 minute 20 laps. And we saw that lap time that broken in the last race when Gomendi came on and lapped in a 1:18.9. So I expect we'll get down there fairly soon.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget, because it's a longer race, they're carrying more fuel on board as well. So, you know, as the race goes on and as the fuel load comes down, you know, possibly we're going to see this pace increase. I'm just trying to look out the window to see if there's any signs to Andy Zuber about whether his need to comes in. But all looks fairly calm down at Carlin Motorsport at the moment.
Oh, and someone else has gone off. That's is that Minani?
Bellarosa.
Bellarosa.
Yeah, that's Bellarosa. You can see.
Let's see the gap. The board to Zuber just says 2. Position 2, lap 16. So it doesn't really tell him a lot, but he's brought the gap down to 1.6 seconds now. He's closing in. He took another tenth or so on that lap. But going slightly faster than both was Damien Passini, the new fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, I think Passini's just started to put the hammer down. There's a possibility he's coming in sometime soon as well. I can see, I can see Cram just slowly coming out into the pit lane, so possibly coming in on this lap or maybe the next one. You know, at the front though, Winkelhock and, you know, Draco seems fairly calm. Everything seems, you know, they look like they're in control of it. We see a fastest lap for
Will Power in 11th place. He's the first one into 19s, 1:19.939. So that's the third of a second faster than anybody else. Now, who's he behind? He's behind Adrian Baez. They could yet come out in first and second places.
They are the effective leaders, aren't they, at the moment? Because they're the only ones who've done the pit stop at the moment. So it all depends really on the pace of Winkelhock and Zuber relative to both of them. I think Winkelhock and Zuber need to start thinking about coming in sometime soon, because slowly, as the newer, sort of fresher tyres on Will Powers and Adrian Baez and Gomendi's cars start coming to their own, you know, they're really going to be lapping quicker than these two, so they need to come in and try and retain track position. And just as I said, I think Zuber's just pulled into the pits. Yep, so Zuber's just pulled into the pits on that lap. We'll have a look. He's stopping right underneath our commentary position here. We see Andrea Zuber. Yep. Trevor Carlin there, stood there with a lollipop.
Stop brake sign. He hasn't knocked any mechanics over, so that's good. Front wheels being changed. Looks a nice, clean, tidy pit stop, and off he goes.
I'm looking to see down the straight to see if Baez is coming. There's Baez, and there's
Baez past him.
This is going to be close.
There goes Power. Oh, right in front of Power. Right in front of Power as he rejoined. So team. And someone's off. Hold on, we've got 1, 2. I don't believe it. It looks as though, let's see, the cameraman, the director can pick them up. It looks as though we've lost both of the Carlin cars. We have a white car with a red flash and a white car with a red flash and black sides.
Oh, look at that, look at that.
Now coming from the right goes Zuber. Right in front of Power. I think Trevor Carlin will be running down to bang their heads together.
No.
Well, I'm afraid
unbelievable.
you can't blame Power there, because he basically was going down the straight and suddenly from his left-hand side, from the end of the pit wall, out from the pit exit, came his teammate.
Oh, that is, they've just committed the ultimate crime.
That is the
team,
ultimate crime. That is.
I'm looking out, I could see Will Power's engineer Daniele Rossi walking off the pit wall, not happy with that at all.
That is a long face. The way the chin was dragging on the ground told it all in that picture. That is an embarrassment. You have to feel for Will Power. He would have been in a very strong position in this race, which definitely would have helped his championship. Yeah. Bang. Not his fault. He's lost out. Now, we have the previous leader in here, which is Marcus Winkelhock. We'll have to see where he rejoins, but we have a feeling it's going to be behind Adrian Valles.
Well, hang on, we're looking now. I've just seen Rio Fukuda go past now with this. There's Valles. Valles is coming down the straight. We see Winkelhock.
Let's hope they don't do the same. Winkelhock has got his nose ahead as he comes out of the pits. So he is now in the lead, and he's negotiated the corner. Adrian Valles is behind him. So job done for Draco. Well done, the team in yellow.
That's a fantastic break for Winkelhock. He's, it was always going to be close. That's what we've been saying for the last few laps. It was going to be close between him and Valles, and that's a big break for him.
That is. Now let's see how fast he can get his tyres up to temperature, because clearly Valles has had about 5 or 6 laps on his since he came in the lap after the safety car withdrew, and that seemed to be the sensible thing to do. So we will just have to see over the course of this lap. I'm just going to look at the splits. Well, we've still got Passini leading, but he hasn't come into the pits yet. So
we've got Passini at the moment ahead
of Danielson, Bedi Minani, and then Rio Fukuda, and then Winkelhock in 5th place ahead of Valles.
Yeah, half a second behind at the moment. So we're following. Directors just picked up our current race leader, Damien Passini. But that's not, as we have another look at the Carlin Motorsport duo. That's a tremendous disappointment for the team. I mean, they were looking strong. They moved a long ways up the grid, and they're looking strong at least for a second and a third, if not anything better than that. And Trevor Carlin's face just says it all.
Yeah, and I mean, we've talked about Will Power. He'd fallen to 4th place overall in the championship before this race, but was still sitting quite well. And not that many points. In 6th place was Zuber, but Zuber just did not use his intelligence. Now there's a lot of shouting on the. Trevor Carlin is not at all happy on the pit wall. Can you see who that is he's talking to there?
That's Harvey Spencer, the team manager.
That's Harvey, all right, only see the back of his head.
Yeah, that's Harvey Spencer, the team manager, and also Zuber's engineer alongside Daniele Rossi, who's Will Power's engineer. So,
well, as we know that...
wish we had a microphone down there at this point.
But in racing, communication isn't always what it could be between teams and drivers, and the pit wall and...
Well, it's quite... I mean, I know Zuber and Will Power are actually... They were actually good friends before this. So I don't quite know how the atmosphere is going to be now. But anyway, look further up the front. Looks like Meneghello's stopped. So it's Passini ahead of Danielson and Fukuda. Those three effectively are going to drop down for sure because they haven't yet stopped. Winkelhock is effectively the leader at the moment ahead of Valles. Benani's not stopped, so it's Gomendi is going to be 3rd ahead of Paganot. Paganot's 4th, and Robert Kubica is going to be in 5th place, my guess is, after the pit stops.
Well, let's just see. We'll know in about 10 seconds, 15 seconds. But as it is at the moment, Passini and Danielson haven't stopped. Fukuda.
No, he's not stopped.
I was going to say.
No, Fukuda's not stopped. The first one who has stopped is Marcus Winkelhock.
Sorry, I misread the screen. I couldn't believe it. That's why I whispered it. I thought, it can't be. He hasn't been in the running. Or he has, but not at the front end. So let's just see as they come around. Kubica is lying 8th on the circuit.
It's quite good being up here.
It's very good. I'm just drawing my breath.
Yeah, so was I. No, it's quite good being up here in the commentary box, isn't it? Because you can see different. I've just spotted Jaap van Lagen looking fairly dejected, stood on the pit wall as well after his first lap disaster, along with Eric Salignon.
Yes, that corner hasn't been good for him today, has it? Led the first race and got sort of pushed wide and lost lots of ground, and then didn't even negotiate it the next time.
But I mean, Passini, to be fair, has had some tremendous pace, hasn't he? He's done a 19.9 on that last lap. And at the moment, look at that. I could see one of the Draco cars going very slowly. Is that Montanari or Winkelhock? Because if it's Marcus Winkelhock, that could be big news.
That could be Mr. Valles' day all over again. So there's Bassini. We look at him going out the hill.
Yeah, because that car certainly looked slower than it should be on the straight.
It did.
I'm trying to work out who it was. We see Bassini. He's done a 19.9 on that last lap.
I think it's Montanari. Must be Montanari.
Yeah, if we
we'll
have a quick look at the sectors.
It's not Winkelhock.
Now Winkelhock looks to be going quick enough. We see Bassini. There's Fabio Carboni. Sorry, it's all kicking off today, isn't it?
One blue car looks much like another from a rear view going up the hill. And we're looking there at Alex Danielson, who is running right at the sharp end. He has yet to pit, running second for Dams, desperate for a good result. But how good a result it will be depends on how quickly they can get in and out of the pits. Perhaps this lap, he's coming up the hill, out of the Melbourne hairpin, going up to Goddard's. Yeah, complete the lap and perhaps come in and finally make his pit stop.
Yeah, we see it does look like Winkelhock has pulled away a little bit from Adrian Baez and just saw another car. I mean, that is Bassini. You see the carbon dust from the brakes coming out as we see. That's a quick stop. That
is a very quick stop.
He's managed to get out before.
And then Danielson, we just saw pulling in the background behind him. So let's see as he goes past. There goes Winkelhock. I can't quite see far enough out of the window. Winkelhock is in the lead.
Winkelhock's got ahead. Yep. Bassini's got in between.
Just in between.
Baez,
he's in the sandwich.
That's a good result for Bassini. I didn't think he would get ahead of Baez there, but he's proved me wrong, and it's it's going to be a good result for him if he can hold on. But now the important part for him is to try and get those front tyres up to operating temperature as quick as possible, because Baez knows his tyres are up there. They're ready to go. He's ready to push. He's ready to make a move. And the next 3 or 4 laps are key to see if Baez can get ahead.
He just got I thought he'd just been pushed wide at McLean's, but he hasn't. But bear in mind, he started this race 17th. Shows the jumble.
Yeah, I mean, it all happened at the first corner, though, didn't it? I mean, it was just chaos at the first lap. And I'm just a bit curious to see where Pastor Maldonado's now, after his little spin on the safety. He's down in 9th place. He's probably going to gain a couple when Fukuda stop and Danielson stop. Yeah.
But for now, here we have it. Marcus Winkelhock leading down the hill. Damien Bassini, he has now pitted. He's rejoined in 2nd place. And in 3rd place, behind the briefly flaming car, is the winner of the first race today, Adrian Baez. He thinks it's his weekend. It's really coming together. And no, he's not close enough to have a look as they go into Goddard's. But he's just got to see how Bassini is going to handle these laps. But now he's just completed 1 flying lap on his tyres. They should be starting to come up to temperature. So he's probably missed his chance to have a go while he's on cold rubber.
You see Gomendi's now up in the 4th place ahead of Paganotta, and Kubica's in 6th. Maldonado is 7th. Sorry, I did him a bit of an injustice there. He's not as far down as I thought.
You were right at the time. He gained a few places.
And
stop sequence.
I mean, it's settled down a little bit now. I think Bassini's managed to get the break now out of Baez to get himself out of trouble. Do you think Bassini can have a go at Winkelhock? Do you think he's going to be fast enough?
Not on the pace of their respective paces in the first race. I mean, Winkelhock was certainly faster and certainly went better and better as the race ran on into its concluding laps. But then again, Bassini was, sort of stuck in traffic in that one. So Felix Portero is down into the 18.9s, which is as fast as Gomendi went in the first race. But Felix is running.
Well, he lost a few laps. So he lost a few laps, didn't he, when he had some sort of a problem? So he's just going out there to try and get faster.
18.911, so that's actually faster than Tristan managed in the first race. So now the order's settling down with Winkelhock ahead of Bassini, 1 second between them, half of a second back to Adrian Baez in 3rd place, and then an 8-second gap to Tristan Gomendi. But just watch, those times are going to come down from Gomendi. I'm sure he's going to start pulling them in, but 8 seconds, I'd say that's a bit too much for him to pull back in 8 laps.
Yeah, I mean, Gomendi, it's not like he doesn't seem to have the staggering pace that he had in race 1. He was in race 1, he was just bang, 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 lap after lap in the low 19s or the high 18s. At the moment, he's just driving around the same speed as everyone else. We see a great fight going on just ahead of us.
It's very
further down the field.
Pavlovic, Fleming, Miguez, and Enighello, and Koska. They're all in there. 5-way battle.
Yep.
5-way battle.
But our director's sticking with the race leaders at the moment. We see Winkelhock, Bassini, and Baez turning into coppers. They don't really seem to be too worried about making a move on each other. They're quite happy. I think they're all quite settled down in the place where they are at the moment, just to drive around and collect the points that they're going to get.
Yeah, well, they know they're not going to be attacked from behind, because as we said, Tristan Gomendi is 8 seconds behind, so he's sort of off their radar. They've just got to look. But in fact, that battle for sort of from behind Danielson with Pavlovich, Fleming, etc., that's where the overtaking is going to be taking place.
Oh, that's Kotska. That's Thomas Kotska. But I just seen someone else go off in the gravel as well.
Looks like they clipped him.
That's Tedeschi. Giovanni Tedeschi and Kotska.
Yeah, they were running down in about sort of...
Yeah, we'll see Kotska spinning back.
30.
That's not the safest way to be doing a half spin, is it?
Not there.
Blind brow at Coppice.
Over the ridge.
Yeah. So Thomas is a bit lucky he got away with that one, I think.
Yeah, I actually thought the cars touched. I thought I saw a flash of something come off as the other one went past. But anyhow, no such trouble to Markus Winkelhock at the front. He's stretched his lead by about half a second on that lap. And maybe Bassini is now falling into the grasp of Valles, who chases him up the hill. Right, sort of left and then right through McLean's and then accelerating up to the next corner, which of course is Coppice, the highest point on the course, where we just saw Thomas Kotska have his little gyration and then the rather scary rejoining gyration.
Yeah. You see, Winkelhock's he's got the break, hasn't he? That's enough for him now. I think Marcus has done so much racing in his career. He's done so many years of Formula 3 and he's even been out in the DTM. He's tremendously experienced, knows how to run at the front, knows how to win races. He knows that all he has to do now is just read the laps off and score a second win of the season.
Well, he also should be very, very good on his tyres, because particularly when he was racing in the DTM, you had to treat your tyres right. Those cars used to consume tyres like they were going out of fashion. So the ability to nurse your rubber is clearly a lesson that he's learned. And let's see, crossing the finish line, he just eased out his gap to 1.7 seconds, less than half a second from second to third place. The battle we see going through Redgate with Adrian Valles, the winner of the first race today, steering clear of that patch of mud and dirt that's been thrown onto the circuit with, well, it's hard to know which of the accidents, because there's certainly been plenty, Karen.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a really action-packed race. I've quite enjoyed it. The first half of the race has just been, until the pit stops, was so much going on, was always... it was all kicking off there, especially with the safety car coming out early on. It changed the strategy quite a bit.
It also made, when the order was being jumbled by the pit stops, and someone suddenly was near the top of the screen, you thought, well, they weren't running near the top, but they could have been.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It certainly made our life a bit difficult, but now it's all sort of settled down a bit, I think. It's just so hard to overtake in cars at this level of racing, because the drivers are all equally good. They're so evenly matched. The teams, you've got fantastic race teams up and down this pit lane, all strong, experienced teams. If anything, among the cream of Europe, in terms of race teams and engineers. So it's, you're looking at very evenly matched cars which are highly aerodynamic, and it's the same Formula 1 problem. It's just so difficult to follow cars in the high-speed corner.
Well, we're just watching Adrian Valles trying to do that. Well, that was through a very low-speed corner, but obviously he wants a good drag and get into the back of Bassini as he comes down the hill into Redgate, but it's not going to happen this lap. And I've just glanced at the screen and see, we mentioned earlier that Felix Portero, who's several laps down, is setting fastest laps. He's just taken another half second off. He's down to 1 minute 18.4s. And just for your reference, that's 1.5 seconds faster than the front three in the race. But, we're just seeing Jeremy, that's Bellarosa running away from having beached his car somewhere narrow. It looks as though that's...
No, the caption's wrong, though. That is, I'm sure a caption will correct itself soon in a second and find out that is indeed Ivan Bellarosa at Redgate, who's had a little spin. But coming back to Portero, he's done an 18.4 on that last lap, which is, I believe, the fastest lap that we've had all weekend.
It is, yeah.
So the circuit has certainly got...
but it's a fraction faster than Tristan Gomindy managed on Friday in gloriously sunny conditions. So all is quiet in the pit lane. I can see from my window, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars beached in the gravel down there at Redgate at various points. And I dare say there's some more behind the trees. I think Ryan Sharp is just around the corner out there as well. So half the field, I thought I saw a puff of smoke out of the back of Winkelhock's car there, but it was probably a spot of braking as he came over the rise.
But grandstand tickets at Redgate are going to be expensive for next year's race.
I think they will be. Certainly an awful lot happening. It always does at Redgate. It's one of those corners. The track's very wide, but it just tightens.
And also, I think the preceding 2 corners are sort of tight and twisty hairpins.
Yeah, and we just
that's a Pellegrino again.
He likes that corner.
Yeah.
He's determined to get it right, isn't he? He'll keep trying.
It's almost like an action replay of that.
Yeah, I began to question. Oh. It's a big old gravel bed there, isn't it? He's going to see the Donington collection, isn't he? It's just behind that fence.
Yeah, I mean, it's Pellegrino's been thrown in at the deep end. He did 1 day of testing at the end of last year, I think, in the old Nissan car. and he's just come straight in here, no testing, had to learn a new circuit.
Yeah, with Friday being a washout, sorry, yesterday being a washout.
Yeah, so he's really been thrown in at the deep end, and they're not easy cars to drive, and it's a competitive field you're driving against.
Yeah.
So it's not an ideal situation.
But looking at Winkelhock, he's driving very smoothly, very calmly. He's sort of got it under control.
Let's have a little look at the rookies, because just speaking about Pellegrino coming in straight away, I mean, Fabio Carboni in the same situation, never driven the car, and straight in there, and he's actually up into 8th place. And if I remember correctly, Fabio, I think he was second here to Heikki Kovalainen back in 2002 in British Formula 3. So he does like the circuit.
Now you're showing off.
No, I was in the same race, so that's how I know. But he's been around here quite a bit. He's done quite a few days, so he knows the circuit. I think same with Danilo Dirani. We see he's in 14th place. He should be a little bit disappointed, I think, with that, because he started well up the grid in 6th and was running strong. He was running the top 5 for the first stint before the pit stop. So I think Danilo would be a little bit disappointed with that.
Fabio started back in 18th place, so he has done well. But again, as we said on those early laps, keep out of trouble. Not that you can dictate where that's going to happen, because it was happening everywhere. But he's driven a very, very mature race. Yeah. I'm just comparing his times with those ahead. He's closing in on Pastor Maldonado.
I think just as I said that, Dirani may have actually gone off.
As you said that, you're right. I'm going to have another look out the window. They haven't got all the cars in the gravel bed there yet. In fact, I can't see him.
No, he's gone off at turn 8, Bruce. I don't quite know which one that is. Yeah, but we'll have a look.
Yellow flag at turn 1, of course. I can see it being waved, and that's just because they wave yellow flags there once you've got half a dozen cars.
Yeah, I mean, just as I was saying about Dirani, I think but he should be happy with what he achieved this weekend. I think yes, he didn't quite manage to have the races that he wanted to have possibly, but what he achieved in qualifying yesterday and his pace this morning, the speed, forgetting, irrespective of the result, his speed was quick enough.
Yeah, certainly something to take to the next round at Estoril and to the final round at Monza. So good learning process.
And these are drivers who are potentially looking to come back for a full season next year. And this is something that I did at the end of the last year. I went and joined my teammate, my friend Narain Karthikeyan at RC Motorsport for the last 4 races of last year. And it was a good learning experience. It just teaches you a little bit, and it gives you a taste of what you're in for when you come back. So I think it's good that drivers like Fabio and Dirani and Pellegrino have had a chance to do a couple of races. So they know where they're going to stack up when they come back.
Well, talking about Carboni, he's closed. He's taken another half second as near as of Pastor Maldonado, so he's closing in on 7th place. He's got 2 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, he's not far behind either, is he? He's only half a second behind Maldonado. Maldonado, the early leader, the fortunate early leader, he's back where he started in 7th place.
Yes, so much has happened in this race. It's easy to forget that. But, looking at the screens there as try. Adrian Valles is still pushing behind Damien Passini, but he is closer, but you haven't got many more goes at that corner, Adrian.
Yeah, I mean, we can see further back in the background, you can see Fleming chasing behind Danielson, isn't it? And then Miguel, Meneghello, Pavlovich, they're all absolutely nose to tail as Marcus Winkelhock comes across the line to start the final lap of this race.
Indeed he does. He's one of 7 drivers to have won races this year. 8 now, of course, after Adrian Valles this morning, and he is going for win number 2, which would push him up the table. He's currently lying 5th overall, so he will gain a few points. But the driver we haven't mentioned a great deal during this race is in 6th place. That's Robert Kubica, championship leader, runaway championship leader. I'm slightly scared as I look at you. I think I might have to wait until they put the points up on the screen after the race. It could be quite close. He is quite close to clinching the championship. But for now, the man of the moment is Marcus Winkelhock. He's got the gap he needs as they run down to the chicane, going into the Grand Prix loop for the final time. Damien Passini follows him through, 1.2 seconds behind, and right behind him is Adrian Valles, the Spanish driver who won the first race today. Down they go, down the hill, over the brow, down to that bottom corner. That was about the greasiest point on the circuit when the rain was flowing. Yes, it wasn't falling, it was flowing in great sheets across the circuit. And back up the hill, hard acceleration up to Goddard's. This, of course, where the oil went down on the track. He's having a look now. I'm just teasing you. So dude, my word. When I say done it, I don't mean pulled off the overtaking manoeuvre. It's just well, you have to feel sorry for Damien Passini there.
So Winkelhock wins from Viers. I wonder if Passini got going. I'm trying to look out the window to see if Passini managed to get going again.
Yes, he has. He's crossed the finish line.
He has.
Yeah, he's limped past. He's just going down to the first corner there. And then behind them, Gomindi Pagano very close behind him. And Robert Kubica, he'll be very happy. 29th to start, gained 23 places and he finished 6th. Pastor Maldonado managed to hold off Fabio Carboni, 7th and 8th, just waiting. Bit of a gap. Very happy Winkelhock there. And then 9th and 10th, Alex Danielson just holding off Colin Fleming and Kelso Miguel.
It's going to be a popular win for Winkelhock. I think the Winkelhock name carries a lot of weight here in Great Britain after his uncle's feats in the British touring cars.
Oh, and his late father's feats. It's just fantastic to see Manfred's helmet still, that helmet design carrying on through Marcus, and Manfred would be very proud because, of course, I remember seeing him win here in Formula 2 races for the BMW team, and a very, very illustrious family in motor racing.
And Viers, he's got a good haul of points from today, hasn't he?
He certainly has. He's picked up 25 points this weekend.
And that's a tremendous bonus for him to finish, with ahead of Gomendi and, with Power not scoring.
Yes, and here's that move again. He sort of looked as though he's going to try, then he looked as though he wasn't, and then he sort of couldn't really pull out, but I think he could have tried.
To be fair to Viers, I think Passini really left the window open a bit more than he should have.
I agree.
I think he should have realised last lap. Viers is going to have a go. Last corner, desperate move. Passini should have covered it a little bit more than he did. So he opened the door a little bit, and Viers didn't need a second invitation. He stuck the nose in there. And there was no stopping him after that.
Well, the good thing is they both managed to finish, though. It'd be very galling to get to the end of the final lap, just one corner to go, and not come away with any points after driving hard. And certainly that was a race of an awful lot of incidents. Just looking out of our window, the Draco Racing pit wall is empty because I know where they've gone. They've all gone running down to greet their driver when he comes into the pit lane. And it's towards the pit exit is where the cars are pulled into their parc ferme in positions 1, 2 and 3, and the rest are flagged off around the corner. And they're already starting an imaginary, being the mechanic, he probably wants the Italian national anthem, but for Marcus, yes, raising both fists to the team boss as he comes past. Yes, you know where to park. Go and stick it down under the podium. He today, sponsored by Boss, is the boss. And Adrian Viers, very happy. Just looking down to see any damage, a little bit of damage to the front wing of Passini, and I can't see any rubbing marks on the side, but they basically got away with that. But in fact, apart from Marcus, the driver who's probably happiest of all is the one who's also just gone in behind them, which is Robert Kubica. He picked up 5 points in that race, which will be very important to him.
Kubica has had a productive weekend, I think you can call it. 3rd in race 1, 6th in race 2, healthy helping of points. Power not finishing, Gomendi not scoring in race 1, apart from the point for fastest lap. And it's just Viers now, but overall, I think Kubica's taken one large step closer to the championship. We see 132 points against 88. We're looking at a 44-point lead.
44 points, and there are 60 points up for grabs. So he's just got to get a couple of decent enough finishes.
Yep.
And hope that Adrian Viers doesn't walk away with every one of the remaining four races in, as we say, Estoril and then the finals in Monza. So perhaps the person who's most upset of all is Will Power. You could say he didn't see that coming, because certainly his teammate flashed out of the side of the pit exit. Did Andreas Subert pretty much straight into his path. Yeah, so words will be had in the Carlin truck this evening.
Yeah, I think that was unfortunate for Will. He was looking strong, sitting behind Marcus, and you could almost see his head sort of looking to the left, saying, "Oh, where did that car come from?"
Yes.
Really quite unfortunate for him.
But it's a hard one, isn't it? Because at that stage, Zuber was thinking, I could get a really good result here, and very quick pit stop, as good as you can, and then accelerate hard. But you've got to look in your mirrors as you come out. I know he was slightly ahead, but
yeah. I mean, with the pit lane here at Donington, it's not the easiest place to look at cars coming up, because they literally come up right alongside you. And the pit lane exits straight into Redgate Corner. I've often wondered why the pit lane just didn't go all the way around past Redgate and join going down the Crater curves, which should probably be a safer and easier way to avoid situations like that.
They'd have to dig it under the rest of the track, though, wouldn't it? Because you think how many cars just go off at Redgate.
Well, that is true.
You'd be picked off like someone out hunting. Now we're just waiting for the drivers to come up for the second podium for the World Series by Renault. It's been a very, very eventful afternoon, enjoyed by a great crowd here at Donington Park. The weather's been lousy yesterday, but even then people were standing out there all day. And today,
I had a few people complain to me after the first race this morning, saying, that was a bit dull, wasn't it? It was just a procession. But I must say, this afternoon more than made up for that.
I think the series, a lot of people coming here to racing for the first time. This series will have won a lot of fans this afternoon because it really was a very, very interesting race. But the driver.
It's good to see Passini and Vias, shake of the hands.
Yes.
Sort of no hard feelings after the last corner. I think they accepted it was a bit of a racing incident, and we see Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus he looks so like his father, doesn't he? There is a definite Winkelhock look there. But I think they maybe wouldn't have been quite so friendly, Vias and Passini, if they both ended up off the track there and not got anything. But they've still come away with a good dose of points. They didn't lose anything really.
That was actually almost a replay of Danny Watson PK last year, remember, in Formula 3. It was just the same thing. Last lap, last corner, second and third place, funnily enough. But anyway, coming back to today, I think you see. And Draco should be pleased with that. It's a third win as a team as well. And Marcus just looks absolutely
He does, doesn't he? It's good to see. But also that's the first visit to the podium this year for Damien Passini. He's had a fourth and a fifth, but that will sort of help him move up. But there's such a difference, isn't there? Finishing fourth, you don't get the glory of going up there, but finishing third, it's not just being in the photo and spraying the champagne. The champagne's a release, but it is a mark for your team as well. It gives them great satisfaction.
Yeah, absolutely. And Vias' second pot for the afternoon, or for the day's work rather.
So he goes. He scored in every race bar one this season. He's still going, so that's very impressive. He's certainly on the move, but Kubica is just edging that little bit closer to the title.
Well, that's the problem for Vias, isn't it? Kubica has just been just as consistent, but scored more points every time. Winkelhock's had a bit of an up and down season. I think he's had some tremendous highs with the win at Le Mans and then today, but also some non-scores, I think.
It has been a bit patchy, but now we're just looking at the screen at Damien Passini. Third place. Just look at that lap time though. It's 1.5 seconds slower than the fastest lap of the race, which Portero was knocking off lap after lap towards the end. But he was long out of the race. But anyhow, it's Marcus Winkelhock's day.
Yeah, to run in free air makes a significant difference to absolute lap time. So big bonus there. We see the champagne sprays finally. Don't think they really wanted to get wet before race 2, but now it's
yes, it's job done.
Yeah,
3 weeks to the next race. They seem to have got the cameraman anyhow, or got the lens dripping there, and this is our cue to say goodbye and leave you with the interviews with the top 3 drivers.
So Damien, starting from ninth row. Yes. Starting from ninth row, this is your first podium for you this year. You did a real good race with a perfect pit stop. Huh?
Yes, I know all the season I improve mainly myself because I have many problems with a team or with a technical problem I don't know, but there is a gearbox always. We can race a gearbox problem, and now I have a gearbox problem on the first race, and I know that I was speed for this track, and now I improve myself for this track, and I know that it's okay for me. Yes.
Thank you, Damien. Second, one more time on the podium, Adrian. You are scoring good points this weekend for the championship.
Yeah, it was a really good weekend. It was fantastic. This second race, I think we could win as well, but one of my mechanics had a problem and he was in front of me, so I couldn't get out of the pits, and I lost about 4 seconds or something like that. That gave the race to Marcus, but that's racing, and I was third after in the race, all the race, and I saw that Damien was on the last corner a little bit too wide all the time, and I thought maybe attack, but I didn't want. When I saw that he was quite tight enough, I was blocking my wheels and I touched him, but that's racing, yeah. It's a good weekend for us, second position again, and we hope to be second in the championship.
Thank you, Adrian. Marcus, the winner of second race today. Your team, it was a great weekend for your team here in Donington with a podium for Christian this morning and your second victory today.
Yeah, the weekend started quite well. In the free practice in dry, I was quite fast all the time. And yesterday in the qualifying, I had a lot of bad luck, and I started once from the 4th row, and today from the 5th row. So today I thought from 11th position in the race, I thought maybe, okay, when everything's working well, maybe 5th or 6th in the race is possible. But if somebody would say to me before the race, I'm gonna win the race today, I would say, shut up. But it was really a fantastic weekend now, and I'm really happy. And that were really important points which I needed in the championship. So I'm quite happy now.
Thank you, Marcus.
Superb. The TV interviews are completely out of
Gracias.